Hello there, my fellow myth and fantasy nerds. My name is Tanner, and I'd like to welcome you back to my YouTube channel. So for this week's video, I thought I would do something a little bit different than my usual format. But first, a little bit of context. Now, for those of you that don't already know, I've been writing a fantasy novel based in a world centuries after those beings and beasts that were once thought to be myth and legend revealed themselves to the mortal population, and now live in a relatively peaceful coexistence. Now, a good piece of advice that I've learned lately is that one good method of developing a more fleshed out character is conducting an interview with said character and thinking of how they would answer those questions. So, that's what this video is about. I will be interviewing the main character of my fantasy novel, asking him questions as myself, and then answering them in character, if that makes sense. This video was actually inspired by one of my favorite YouTube creators, Ginny D, who's the one who originally developed these questions that I will be asking. I'll put a link to her video where she interviewed her D&D character Aisling in the cards and in the description down below. So on that note, as always, please make sure to leave a like on this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe down below. Pretty please! It'll help me make more content for you. And without further ado, here is my interview with my fantasy novel character. Enjoy. Okay, can I just say, it is so nice to finally meet you face to face. I'm really glad you agreed to do this interview with me. Yeah, same here. Thanks for inviting me. Alright, now that we're all ready, how about we start this interview by telling the viewers a little more about yourself? Oh, well, alright, putting me on the spot already, huh? Well, my name is James Warrick, I'm 18, and I'm from the small village of Wakefield in the land of Udror Spala, still nicknamed the US by most, if not all. I'm also a demigod, specifically a Type 1 demigod, which basically means one of my parents is a member of the Immortals, who were at one point or another worshipped as gods and goddesses, and the other parent is, well, not an immortal. This is as opposed to a Type 2 demigod, which is someone whose bio parents were both not immortals, but the child was, for one reason or another, adopted by and raised by the immortals. Okay, can you get a little bit more specific about your heritage, or is that too much of a sensitive subject? Oh, not at all. I'd be happy to elaborate. So, my mother is a demimyth, which is someone who's part human, part magical being, beast, or some hybrid thereof. In her case, she's half human, and her other half is a mixture between fairy, genie, and dragon, though the exact proportions of which we don't really know. On the other side of the coin, my father is the immortal titan Astraeus, who was worshipped by the Greeks and later the Romans as the titan god of the dusk, stars, and constellations. So, I inherited some abilities from my dragon ancestry. My fairy and genie heritage gave me some very powerful spellcasting abilities. And because of my demigod nature, my magical specialty is, well, stars and constellations. Though, again, my draconic heritage definitely flavors my spellcasting as well. Awesome! Thank you! Alright, so what do you think people's first impressions are when they first meet you? Hmm, that is a really great question. Um, I would have to say that depends on whether they meet human me or magical me. What do you mean by that? Well, what I mean is, since my mom's a demimyth, I inherited the ability to switch between my human form and my magical form at will. When I'm in my human form, like right now, I think people definitely see me as just an ordinary mortal. But when I transform, that's when they realize there's much more to me than meets the eye. Well, I mean, how would you feel if you saw an upright dragon with star like patterns all over his scales and wings? Huh, good point. So, what's your go to order at a tavern? Oh, yet another good question. Well, firstly, since I'm 18, I'm not of age yet, so I can't technically have alcohol. But where I'm from, we have a plant called Alco Ivy, which allows people who want to enjoy alcoholic beverages without actually having alcohol to drink them. The leaves are able to absorb any and all alcohol in a drink without affecting the taste. So I would have to say my go to is probably a non alcoholic Irish coffee with some Irish cream added in. Ooh, that sounds amazing. Oh, it is. Okay, so out of everyone in your friend group, who would you say you have the best relationship with? Oh, you know what? I would probably have to say Melody, mainly because she's my cousin and we grew up together. Well, technically, she's my second cousin since her grandfather and my grandmother are slash were brother and sister. I'm a demigod with demimyth ancestry, and she's all mage. Huh, interesting. All right, so on the flip side, who do you think you have the worst relationship with? Ah, I don't really know. My friends and I have known each other for so long, and we've grown so close to each other over the years. I honestly really don't think I could say any of them. All right, so what would you say is your go to move in battle? Well, I'd probably say my spell casting, but if all else fails, I definitely have some other magical and physical abilities based on my various ancestries. Huh. Care to elaborate? See, I would, but we'd probably be here all day. Alright, so what would you say is the most memorable moment in all of your adventures? Well, I don't think I can answer that since A, we haven't gotten that far yet, and B, spoilers. Ah, that's a very good point. Let's get a little less personal here. Coffee or tea? Oh, coffee for sure. I don't know what it is about hot leaf water, but it just doesn't appeal to me. Ugh, yeah, I can agree with you there. So, what would you say is your type? Like, romantically? Huh, never really thought about that. I guess I would have to say probably someone who appreciates me for who I am. Someone who could find humor in any situation. And of course, someone who doesn't immediately run away when they see my magical form. Fair enough. Alright. What would you do if someone gave you 10,000 gold pieces? 10,000? Thrones of Olympus! There is so much you can use that for. Well, first of all, at least half is definitely going to charity. The rest, I could use for whatever I want. I could have shinies for my horde. I am so sorry. My dragon side definitely just came through right there. Ugh. Okay. How about we move on to the final question? What would you say is the quickest way to earn your trust? Honestly, if you come over to my house and Fuzzy, my family's pet gremlin, comes over and immediately starts nuzzling you, to me that's a sure sign you're a good person. Either that or he just wants some of your magic to snack on. Or the energy from a D battery. He's definitely not picky. Alright, that's all the questions I have here. Again, thank you so much for talking to me, James. Of course, thank you for having me. It's not every day you get an interview from the guy that's writing a book about you. And there we have it. That was my interview with James Warrick, my fantasy novel's main character. If you liked this video and you want more, please consider leaving a like and subscribing down below so you don't miss any new content from me. So, what did you think of James? What did you think of this interview? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, if you have any other ideas you want to see in any future videos, leave those suggestions in the comments as well. Who knows? One of them just might happen. Alright, well, that's all the time I have for this video, so I'll see you all next week with, actually, part 1 of a very special request from a family friend. See you guys then!